nicest thing anybody's done for me in 18 months. Nobody's brought me anything in 8, except for my wife. And
outside
God
of
love
your
her.
wife and your kids, right?
Yes, they have brought me so much joy, among other things. But my tag team partner today brought me a burrito, and I'm like, hey, man, where'd you get these? He's like, one of those trucks.
Yeah,
One of those trucks where they make food. And I'm like,
I was like, no, this is legit one. This is a legit one, man. So yeah, it will be fine. You'll be able to, you won't have to run to the bathroom or anything like that.
You know me. You've known me a long time.
I know you got
run
that cat
to many
summer.
bathrooms.
But I do have these. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Takis. Yeah, those things are lit.
Takis?
Yeah, those things are on fire. They've got the hot chili pepper and lime. It has my stomach just on fire.
You
right
know
now.
what's coming, and you're like,
And
yeah,
I know
man, these are
and
real good.
but I love the taste.
You said I had to put those down. They were too hot. You had parked them, but then I noticed you had parked yourself back by them again.
Yeah, man, I have to. You see, I got this big gallon of water here to help flush those Takis out.
Oh my gosh!
So, yeah, man. So this is, like something like this would happen. Then I go play in the game, and then I'll be running real fast. You'd be like, "What's going on?" My butt's on fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's what would happen.
There you go. That's how we start the show today. Who's going to be playing like their butts on fire tonight? Do you think in Atlanta? Because a bunch of guys aren't going to play.
Ooh,
their butts going to be nice and cool on the bench.
Well, I want to say everybody that's playing, because that means your job is not secure. You could think it is, but somebody else could be rising to the top, even if it's at offensive tackle or guard, or you're a backup. You think you got it sewed up that you're the backup corner, or you go out there and lay an egg. Oh, they will be looking on the waiver wire, and it will be some proven guys in the league. And then we got the kicking situation, the deep receivers, the offensive line, the backup quarterback battle, and then this, to see how the line actually does with not a lot of guys out there that are starters. So it's kind of going to be interesting. A lot of former players or coaches, attached to the Titans a little bit with the Falcons, so back and forth there. So kind of a little bit of a rivalry, I guess, starting with Arthur Smith and Vrabel.
Yeah, no doubt. And Dean Pease.
Oh, and Dean Pease and his son, right? Matt is with them as well. Yeah, you got Stocker. You got I liked Foreman last year. We picked up, maybe 3 or 4 games into the season at running back. He was a first rounder. He slimmed down, looked very explosive, looked like kind of a mini King.
Right.
And he hit the hole maybe sometimes a little bit faster. And he's not faster than the King.
Right.
But I'm talking about hitting the hole. So he's a bolt of light. We got the Hill kid that plays for us now, Brian Hill, at running back, Stocker. I mean, man, there's a little back and forth here. So I think this game going to be a little scrappier than most people think.
Did it drive you crazy at the end of the game when things got sloppy?
In the
at preseason games where you're like, let's just get on the bus and get the heck out of here, and time's wasting and guys are dropping balls and going the wrong way when that happens. Did that drive you crazy?
Well, it didn't happen a lot, but it definitely happened. But nothing really outrageous, really more so people forgetting somebody's down and then they now replace them.
Right.
You go over that 50 billion times, all the different scenarios when you sit in the team meeting room or the special team, especially on special teams, and somebody goes down or they have a strain or they took them out. It's not their job to tell them. They need to be paying attention, standing next to their coach and make sure you know who's out there. And usually the coaches try to gather around, but some guys just still forget. And so, depending on who you are, that could be the reason you're on or not on the team. It's that close.
Sure.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it would irritate me. It's just like sometimes, okay, let's get this first game out the way with all the rotation, with all these different players, and then say, okay, the second game, let's be a lot sharper on substitution patterns.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who wonder, literally, teams go over that. They go over all of it. Everything gets gone over. It's just you got to make the mental note or write it down or whatever so you can look at it later, remember it, to know if this guy comes out, I come in.
Well, I think sometimes that benefited me being from not a big-name school football program, also being the blue-collar, overachiever, hard worker. I paid attention to all the little details.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was something that just couldn't be missed. And when I say that, I'm talking about, okay, I'm not going to give any reason for them to release me for my acts.
Right.
Now, if someone beat me on a play or I missed a tackle, that's different than I allowed them. I had the answers to the test, and I didn't say the right or do the right thing on the test. That they gave it to me. I have no reason to miss it. And so those are the things that I refused as an individual, as a player. But there are not a lot of players. Everybody's not like that. I used to make assumptions that everybody was.
Yeah.
That's not true. Everybody's not motivated the same, regardless of how athletic or how good you are. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated, like me, the passion and the love for the game. I still played it in the NFL level like I was still in college. Every play meant everything to me. A lot of guys were like, well, I messed up. I'll get it next time. No, it may not be a next time, man. Yeah, that's why the Ravens loss really hurts, because it was never a next time we got back to the Super Bowl.
I think I've told you this before. When I was working at Arkansas State, we had a receiver. He was a great kid, went through a lot of personal issues with his parents and lost both of his parents while he was in school. And I got real close to him and, just tried to help look out for him. And he went through this period where he struggled. And I just talked to him, like, not about football, just like trying to be a dad figure type person.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when I was in high school, he said, I didn't even play football until I was a senior, but I decided to play football and I was a receiver. And he said, I didn't know how to run any kind of routes and nobody showed me. He said, I just would run as fast as I could, and the quarterback would throw me the ball, and there was nobody around me. Or I would just go stand somewhere, and he'd throw me the ball, and then I would out. He said we had plays, but I didn't know how to run a route to get to a specific spot. He said I was just faster than everybody else. He said then when I came here, I wasn't faster than anybody.
Right, everybody's just as fast.
And so when you get to the NFL, people are like Olympic fast. So like I can't imagine what it was like for the first-round pick, second-round pick, like guy who's always been the biggest and the baddest and the fastest. Mm-hmm. Now, some of those guys come in, rarely, and they're still just bad dudes.
Right.
But a lot of them have to figure out how to play with leverage and how to run a route. And and like you're talking about all the DB stuff, where it's like, I'm going to make this guy run around me. I'm going to just run this guy out of bounds. All the things that you learned with angles. And just where the goal line or the back line or the out-of-bounds line became another defender to help you. Where guys just thought, I can't just outrun people anymore. I'm not the biggest. I can't just push people out of the way anymore. That has to be a heck of a thing for a guy to get this far and then have to work through that.
Yeah, you know what? And I think some guys don't. I mean, from whether you're from a big school
right.
or a small school, and that's why you end up saying, dang, man, that guy from, I'm just use Alabama since I'm sure we got a lot of listeners. Like, dang, I thought he would be better than that. I thought he'd get better pro. He
like
just
Chance
became
Warmack.
a solid pro. Right. He just became a solid pro and a starter instead of a guy you thought, oh, man, he's going to dominate. He's going to be a Pro Bowl level player. He's going to be one of the best guards in the NFL. And it didn't happen.
Yep.
And sometimes they've peaked. And then sometimes guys don't know what the things they need to work on to be better or to manage through in this league to be the best player or version they can to perform at a high level. And that takes time. Sometimes you say 2 or 3 years, and after that, if they haven't figured it out yet, they're not going to figure it out, or they just don't have it. Yeah, it's really uncanny why that happens, though. I have no idea.
But there are a lot of big school guys who get to the NFL, and you're like, yeah, that guy. And then a couple years later, you're like, what happened to that guy?
I can't remember this guy's name. This guy was a big time player. He was a safety at, I think, Alabama. We talking about like the year we moved here in 97.
97.
I think that was 97 or 98. I can't remember his name. And he was really good. I mean, and we drafted him in the 4th round. I wanted to say his name, but I cannot remember. And I thought, man, we got him. We're going to be good. Good to go. He got here and I go, uh-oh. That's not the same guy, is it? I said, yeah, that's him. I'm going to look him up. I'm going to have his name after the break. I'm going to figure it out. I know you're probably looking it up now. The draft, all you got to do is look like the draft class from 97, 98. It might have been 99, but I'm pretty sure it was in that Tennessee Oiler window.
All right, I'm going to get this for you before we
figure
take
it out.
Break.
And, man, he was a good player, but he should have been a great player based off of his resume of what he did in college.
You've talked about this guy before,
I know.
and I say
and
that
I've looked
because
him up before, and I couldn't even. And I thought I think he's 98 class, 98.
Okay, 97. Kenny Holmes, Joey Kent, Denard Walker.
This reads the DBs.
Scott Sanderson, Derek Mason, 4th round pick, which is
crazy. Isn't it?
A guy named Pratt Lyons. Here's your guy, George McCullough.
No, that's Baylor.
I know, but George McCullough was the 5th rounder.
Yeah, he's
almost.
almost.
Boy, gosh, George almost made
it. He had a really good career in Canada.
Hey, man. Was it Renee Stewart?
No, Renee was my backup.
Oh, he's from Northern Arizona.
Yeah, this guy I think went to Alabama. He might have, maybe he didn't. He was 98 class then. Yeah, this guy was he's a safety. He was really good. Man, I cannot. Oh, this guy. And he just, man, I don't know what happened. I think he got lost.
Here's Brad Ware from Auburn.
Brad Ware. Auburn, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Alabama.
Hey.
Brad Ware. That was him.
Blaine, he never played a game in the NFL.
Yeah. What round did he go?
4th round.
Yep, that's him. That's
Brad Ware from Auburn. If you look at this.
He was a pretty good player.
If you look at this list, it's on Pro Football Reference, which is my favorite website. Like every blue name, they played at least a game. And if it's a black name, it means you can't click on it. It means they never recorded a game or a stat. That rascal did not.
Yeah, I think they cut him in training camp.
A 4th round pick.
Yeah, I think they cut him in training. Like at the end of the training camp, they cut him. He never came. And I was like, dang, he was a pretty good player. He was from Alabama then. Yeah, didn't play out. He played at Auburn. He's a solid player. Really, really good player. I remember watching him a couple games. Man, it just did not translate. And some of it was more mental, but then I think he just lost his confidence.
Listen to your draft class. So Brad Hopkins was the number 1 pick. He went 13, played 194 games of NFL football on the offensive line.
Diggity beehive.
Michael Barrow was the 2nd round pick. Everybody remembers him from Miami. He played 173 games in NFL.
He played like 15 years. Yeah, he was.
Travis Hanna, you remember him, wide receiver?
Yeah, T.
Hanna, he played 37 games.
Yeah, receiver from USC.
Now, this guy you were talking about the other day, John Henry Mills, rocked up, you said, like special teams demon. He played 100 games.
Yeah, and this guy, it was a Pro Bowl, special team player.
Okay, now this may be the one where you got to think about it. Chuck Bradley.
I remember tackle from Kentucky.
You know how many games he played?
I don't think he might have been on the team a couple years, but he didn't ever play a game, did he?
1 game.
Well, okay.
He played in 1. Think about that. Like that guy's got a Oilers jersey hanging up in his house. He was an Oiler. This is 93. And his kids are like, wait, you played for the Oilers? Like 1 game I did. Patrick Robinson, wide receiver.
Yeah, he was wide receiver, punt returner. He was solid.
Tennessee State.
Yeah, he was a solid player. He was good, but he was not a polished receiver, but as a returner, he was pretty solid. He was really good.
He played 30 games, and here you go. Pick 214 in the 8th round. Defensive back Blaine Bishop.
B. Bizzle. How many games did I play? I don't know.
Do you not know?
Oh, no, man, I do not know my stats or anything or like how many games I play. I tried to play every freaking game if possible, regardless. If I could run, I was trying to play. Only my last year with the Titans did I not play because that was the only time I was on IR.
You played 138 games. Oh, that's pretty darn good, man. You had 15 and a half sacks.
Wow.
5 INTs. There you go. This is your life, Blaine Bishop.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to have my life pass before my eyes. I'm going to dig into this burrito from Blaine. We're also going to dig into some Titans talk because it is game day. Buck Reising joins us next. He is in Atlanta, apparently eating wings from a strip club via food delivery service. We got lots to get to. It's Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Yeah.
Live interaction with other listeners while watching your favorite Zone shows. It's 1045 The Zone TV live on YouTube and Twitch.
All right, here's a little weekend project for you. You don't have to go home and like build a fence or anything like that. Your project is just to do some cyber loafing. If you're a man or woman, you're dealing with hair loss. If you've got all your glorious hair, you can build a fence or whatever you want to do, build a treehouse. But maybe you're losing your hair, then wondering what you're going to do. A lot of you just think, I'm just going to do nothing. Well, there is something you can do, and it's this. Go to wegrowhair.com. That's a website that you need to go to. It's the website for PAI Medical. So all of you who like you watch movies or you see your favorite musicians, you think those people don't ever age. It's because they all have a hair guy, all of them. Well, guess what? You could have the same hair guy, Michael Ramsey. And here's the thing. Don't think you can't afford it because they'll work with you on no matter what you do and how you pay for it. And not everybody goes down there, gets some kind of crazy transplant or something. It starts with something as little as just laser light therapy. You just sit under a light, seriously. So go to wegrowhair.com. And once you've seen enough, and you haven't seen enough hair, when you see your reflection, call 615-376-6010. Call PAI today. The only thing you'll regret is that you didn't call them sooner.
Hit the jackpot on Vegas-sized thrills at Oak Grove Gaming. Join the Oak Grove Players Club and start earning rewards right out of the gate, like $20 free play
their minds.
Yeah.
And then other people are like,
red ones.
let's just see how well they hold up.
Mhm.
And then everybody else is kind of somewhere in between. So I'm curious, I always look at these preseason games because you know me, I like the long shot. I like the guy who comes from nowhere. I'm always a big fan.
And you also like the jerseys.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. You know what they're wearing? You know what breeches they're wearing? The Titans? Yeah.
I saw Jim Wyatt's breeches report, but now I don't remember.
I think blue. Navy blue.
Was it navy blue pants and white jerseys? Was that it?
I think so.
Okay, I think that's it. All those combos look pretty good. The one I'm not crazy about is the one that the players like. It's the all navy blue. The players have always liked that.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. You know which one I don't like the all white. I know it looks sweet, but it looks soft. I mean, it looks nice. I mean, but it's like, dang, man, that's not intimidating to anybody, all white.
When we were growing up, the only teams that wore all white that I remember.
Who's that? The Colts? Nope, that wasn't growing up. Yeah, well, the Baltimore Colts.
The Vikings, they would wear on the road a lot of times white pants and white jerseys.
Oh, yeah, Ahmad Rashad catching that catch.
And the Bears did too. The Bears wore white pants and white jerseys. They're big rivals. But a lot of teams, like the Chiefs, wore red pants. They didn't wear white pants. They did occasionally wear white pants and white jerseys, but they'd wear their red pants. Or the Browns would wear their orange pants and their white jersey. But I remember the Vikings and that purple helmet and the white. Here's the thing. If you have a white helmet, to me, it's just too much white. But I don't mind it as much if it's white jersey and pants, like with the Titans dark blue helmet. I'm not crazy about it either. I don't really like all one color. I like it when you have one color pants and one color jersey on pro teams. To me, it looks more like a college team.
Every time they wear the all white, though, they play really well. I think of the Cowboys game.
Well, the game here when Javon Kearse broke his foot was all white. And I don't think the Titans had ever worn all white in a game until that. Now, somebody's going to know, Preston Penn or somebody who knows everything about what they've worn, super fan. Somebody's going to tweet me. I don't remember you guys ever wearing all white in a game, except in that game. And you were in Philly. That was a game against Philly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the Titans came out in all white, and you came out in number 24, which was weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and green.
None of that made any sense. So you're on the other team. The team is in all white. Javon breaks his foot. That was just a disaster of a day. All white. So I hated all white uniforms.
Well, they won. Titans won.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a close one. Yeah.
You guys only lost 3 games that year, right? The Eagles.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, we had that one. I don't know what happened. I think Eddie had a long run. And so just so I could make sure I got a shot on him, I got one. Yeah, hit him into the end zone.
What did he say to you?
We looked at each other like, I knew you were going to try to get me right there, man. I had no shot of stopping him. You know, you get a big human being like that running that fast, and then I think he ran for about maybe 30 yards or so. He's right there. You know, typically a DB starts saying, okay, I'm about to make a business decision here. There's no way I can stop him. I'm coming from the side.
Right.
He's got the angle. And I had to give him a shot just to let him know that
Still
old B
here.
Bizzle still got it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I just wanted to see if he was prepared to slide once I made him airborne.
That's a big human, too. That's a lot of human to move into the end zone.
No, that was fun, though. He got me a few times, too.
It is time now for our weekly visit with Buck Reising. We get him not a few times, but once a week, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, home of the non-commissioned salespeople. So, Buck, you got Blaine Bishop on this morning. I hear you talking about how it was a similar story to what Pac-Man Jones once told. He was in New York City, and everything was closed but the strip club. And that was the only place he could get a steak. In the whole city of New York, apparently wings were the only thing available to you from a certain place in Atlanta. It was the only kitchen still open there. How you doing, Buck?
God bless the Magic City Strip Club kitchen, because they saved me at like 11 o'clock last night. Everything in Atlanta is starting to shut down again, boys. I'm not optimistic about where things are trending for a normalized football season based on major metropolitan areas and how they're handling their various protocols. But there is no protocol against strip club wings being Uber Eats to your hotel room for anybody who would accuse me of nefarious behavior outside of the confines of my hotel room on a work trip. I got Magic City wings, the Lou Williams meal, the one that got him in trouble for leaving the bubble and breaking protocol during the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. I got the Magic City wings, the Lou Williams meal, and it was delightful.
I don't know if food from there has
Barbecue?
ever been called delightful before. But it's barbecue. I remember the story. It's barbecue and something else, right? What's the mix with the barbecue?
No, they got the lemon pepper seasoning on the barbecue wing, and it comes with a loaded baked potato, as if that's not enough. So it is the best in class.
Ooh,
as far as
I can't wait till you bring
I
it
don't
back
think I
to
could
me.
ever go back.
Okay. Did
All
you
right,
take
so
a
listen,
picture?
Blaine, I got an order sitting next to me. I had to go to a strip club at 1:30 in the afternoon to bring you wings today, so I hope it's worth it for the shame that washed over me.
Yeah. Well, that'd be worth it. So I'll warm them up tomorrow.
All right. Well, Buck eats the finest cuisine that Atlanta has to offer. I did want to ask you this before we got into Titan stuff. Did you watch the Field of Dreams last night or any of it? I know you were busy, but here's why I'm asking. Major League Baseball doesn't seem to get things right very often. They seem to step on their own. Just pick what you would say that they stepped on.
2 feet.
Yeah, their own 2 feet. But I just thought they did this so well last night. I was happy for them.
So I was watching it because I had no idea what was going on. I wasn't paying any attention to the ramp up for this thing. And then after the preseason game between the Pats and the Washington football team was over, I was scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, oh, there's this thing in Iowa. Why the hell are they playing in a cornfield? So I put it on Fox, and I was watching it, and I understood even as it was late in the game, like it was the top of the ninth when I finished prime time. And I was able to tune in, so most of the game at that point had been played. But just the way, how simplistic they made the elements of the broadcast, I thought were great. It was something that trafficked in baseball's nostalgia, but also appealed to somebody like me who has zero connection with the sport. I mean, none whatsoever. I got nothing for you on baseball other than I like to go to Sounds games and drink at the bandbox out there in the outfield. So I really thought they did that so spectacularly well. And the player who ended the game, Tim Anderson, is one of the best and brightest in the sport. And the fact that he has no connection to Field of Dreams, he's never seen the movie. He doesn't care about the movie.
Right.
That resonates with me because I'm like, why are they playing in Iowa and what's with the cornfield? It made its own moment with Tim Anderson, something that I can associate with, where I got nothing for a movie that was made in the 1980s.
And what's crazy is Buck Reising joins us. It's not like you could take the NFL. They wouldn't go to a cornfield and play in front of 8,000 people. You have so few games. You can't blow one up like that. But I spent the rest of the night thinking, gosh, what could the NFL, other than throwback uniforms, they really can't tap into nostalgia like that.
I mean, yeah, it's tough, right? Because especially when you consider that baseball's inventory, like you're saying, is so much more vast than that of the NFL, and what the price point on one NFL game is up against one of 162 in Major League Baseball. Football. The closest thing that football has to something like this is Hall of Fame week, where we're reminiscing on all of these moments for the greats, like Peyton Manning and Calvin Johnson, and all of that kind of bringing back those memories of the moments that they had, but not an actual game being played itself. I just don't think there's a way to pull that off.
Buck Reising joins us. He is coming at us from Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready to cover tonight's first preseason game for the Titans. They're taking on Arthur Smith and the Falcons.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Right? Oh, yeah, no doubt about it segment. That's what this is with Buck Reising. How you like that, Buck? No doubt about it.
No doubt that's a good idea.
We're going to come up with a segment here now, right? This is your segment, or should it be our own?
It should be your segment, but the people who call in to complain about No Doubt and No Doubt About It were on my radio show. So maybe since I visit with you every week, maybe we rotate between Mickey and Blaine every week with me, and then we'll call that No Doubt About It on my show.
Yeah, no question. Let's have some fun here. Yeah, no question. I would just change it to that. How much of the backup quarterback's battle are you going to be watching, and how much pressure is actually going to be on those guys to perform? In particular, Woodside, who doesn't have a lot of experience compared to Matt Barkley.
Man, every time I think Woodside's in a bad spot, this man
He
can survive the zombie apocalypse. That's all he does. He survives. So I think the pressure's on Matt Barkley. Like, I don't think Woodside's all that. Woodside probably should be worried about it, and I'm certain that he's done, things to adequately prepare, and he understands the gravity of the situation. But, added pressure doesn't always help a quarterback, right? Because you're already in your head about a million different things. You got live bullets flying around for the first time in a long time, even if they're not schemed. And for Matt Barkley is in a much more tenuous position as far as his NFL career goes than Logan Woodside is. He's the veteran by quite a bit in this particular situation. He has proven that he cannot really do much other than be a backup body for any of these other NFL teams that have taken a chance on him. And Woodside's got the advantage of knowing the playbook. So, I mean, the pressure not necessarily is on the guy who will get the start tonight in Logan Woodside. It's on Matt Barkley to see if he can continue to prolong his NFL career.
Well, with Buck Reising from the Buck Reising Show, and, I was thinking about this. You didn't have any preseason last year, and now they're having preseason. Just how important is preseason after last year, do you think, to maybe the players, coaches, and everybody involved, or does it really matter? Because it seems the Titans play fairly well. So do you want to be like, man, do we really need preseason? Or they're just going to hold out a lot of their starters and big, name and, salaried players and just wait till the regular season?
I mean, so I guess the only justification for preseason, right, is for reps for bottom of the roster guys to see them in real time. But the importance of it, I think outside of live tackling, Blaine, for defensive players, because that was something that took just a nosedive last year without the preseason, given what practices are now and how much they limit contact in practices. You just saw how poorly defenses across the board, I mean, the Titans being one of the worst defenders, were in that regard. But if that's the only justification for the preseason, I mean, they're just doing it for the for the television contracts that they need to fulfill, and the fact that collectively bargained are 20 NFL games, 3 preseason, in this case 17 regular season, the way that they just kind of shifted the math on adding the regular season game by subtracting from the preseason. They're not all that important for fans. They're important for guys who are trying to, continue their livelihood. So from that standpoint, it is a big deal. But for as much as everybody puts into them and for as long as they take to get through, preseason is just kind of exists at this point for the sake of the television dollars.
Well, Buck, who are you going to be watching or, keeping a close eye on that you're really fascinated to see how well they do now that the games will be played?
Give me a little Rashad Weaver. How you like that? I think that's a spicy one because he is somebody, John Simon, until Bud Dupree came back from the PUP list and has since really practiced every day in some kind of limited capacity every day since he's been activated. John Simon was the starter opposite Harold Landry when they were running defensive drills and 11-on-11 at practice. So how Simon and Weaver kind of find ways to separate themselves from one another and find their role, if they indeed do stick to the math that they used last year on game days, where they're only keeping 3 active outside linebackers on the 46-man roster. Now, they could change the math this year based on their personnel and having a more varied skill set, and it will obviously change week to week based on the matchup. But Rashad Weaver is somebody who has the ability to not just play on the edge or as an outside linebacker, which is where he gets a lot of his work. He can play really across that defensive line in certain packages. So I want to see how far they can test his versatility to make the math work once they have to figure out active game day numbers. Because the more that he can do up front, the bigger an asset he's going to be.
We're on with Buck Reising from the Buck Reising Show right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Yes, sir. Does Kendall Lamb, if he's healthy, I know he left practice early the other day, does a healthy Kendall Lamb, do you think, have a leg up at right tackle right now?
No, I think Tyson Breo does, which I wasn't really anticipating. They seemed to as soon as he was ready to go from, I can't remember whether he said a foot or an ankle issue that cost him the rest of his season last year. They put him right there on the right side, and they made Lamb the backup at left tackle when they couldn't have Taylor Lewan out there, given that they're staggering his workload the past couple of weeks as well. So I feel like it's kind of Ty Sambreo's job to lose because the rookie is playing right guard right now. He's getting some reps at both tackle and guard in Dylan Radins, but it seems like Lamb is not the preferred alternative or is not the preferred starter, I would say that he is probably the preferred alternative at this point, given that Raiden still has a lot of work left to do.
And you played a snippet. I heard this earlier today. You were talking to Greg Cosell. He had an interesting take on Raiden's and really where I think he tried to qualify, saying it, but he had an interesting take on where he thought Raiden's might actually be best.
Yeah, he said thinks he's a center, or he thinks he could be a really good center. And he cited Mitch Morse, who played a handful of years for the Buffalo Bills. He might still be in Buffalo. I can't remember. But similarly built, like a longer, bigger center. You don't necessarily associate those guys with having the frame of a 6'6", 6'5", in the case of Dylan Raiden's tackle with the kind of length. But, the thing that's cited about Raiden's is his arm size at tackle, his arm length at tackle. And a lot of that can be overrated. I mean, the guy out of Alabama who plays left tackle for the Bengals, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that was a big story about him when he was a first-round pick, and he looks fine on the left side when he came back from his rookie year off of injury. So it's interesting. I don't know if it's got more to do with the footwork or how he fits in certain schemes, and particularly with this one where they run a lot of outside zone concepts and run action, play action passes. But it seems like Greg saw something from him during his college career, and really only one game of a sample size to work off of the 2020 season,
right,
with the way that FCS handled their season. Something on film showed that this guy may be suited for an interior role rather than on the tackle side of things. But we'll see. He's got some development to do, certainly, and the idea that you go from North Dakota State and really not having played a full season at North Dakota State since 2019, straight to handling guys like Jeff Simmons and Danico Autry in the middle of a defense, it's good. It's a pretty steep learning curve for him right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Buck Reising joins us here on the Blaine and Mickey Show.
Well, I find that really convenient in that you said that, and that's all true. But we weren't saying that about all the rookies last year when they had no preseason. We're expecting them to go into the game. Expectations are based off where you go in the draft to perform. To me, this is a little disappointing with Raiden's in that not only is he 6'6" long arm, now we're talking about moving him inside where typically you don't have guys like built like that. And then now, Cosell says he's better off at center. So to me, it tells me his athleticism and his footwork aren't there to play offensive tackle. That's just an observation based off what you're telling me and what Greg Cosell says. To me, that's where it may be. I'd love to see him. I haven't really paid attention to him, but I will be watching him in the game to see how he looks with his footwork because there's not a lot of space when you're inside compared to when you're outside at tackle.
Oh, no, Blaine, you're spot on. If they screwed this up for a second year in a row with a need at right tackle, this is an indictment of the people responsible for scouting this dude and scouting offensive line, frankly, because they can't keep whiffing on that position, especially how badly Isaiah Wilson tanked. And I understand there are so many different circumstances that went into Isaiah that we may never see again. I don't think there's been a first-round draft pick that handled that as poorly as Isaiah Wilson did. But your point is well taken, is that they should absolutely be, and they being John Robinson and his staff, should absolutely be held to account if the guy that they drafted to play right tackle straight up can't play right tackle. They need him to solidify the right side because their offensive line is getting older. And it may be a convenient situation if Roger Saffold ages out after this year and they can slot Raiden's in on the left side inside, but then you're still left with another hole at right tackle without a solution. So I'm absolutely with you. There's a lot of good explanations, but there were plenty of good explanations for Marcus Mariota and the way that things ended there. That's an extreme case, but you have to understand, as Blaine is correctly pointing out, what teeters on explanations and then becomes excuse making.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're with Buck Reising. I guess lastly for me, Buck, real quick, do you think it's going to be, some Arthur Smith, with some trickery up his sleeve trying to take, his former head coach down, even though it's a preseason game?
I mean, I want that to be the case. I'm praying for that. I need, I love that we have football back and preseason football. There's a lot of good reasons to enjoy it, but I need some spice. I hope they get a little extra alpha for us playing because I'm gonna need something other. If the self-serve ice cream machine that they have in Mercedes-Benz Stadium is not available to keep me engaged, then I'm going to need some trickeration. I'm going to need some early onside kicks. I'm going to need some alpha behavior from Arthur Smith against his boss.
Wow, man.
Former boss.
Alpha behavior. I heard Kanye was living in there. Did they kick him out for the game? Do you know?
No, he left.
Oh, he left.
Oh.
He just got he had his own room in there. He decided he was going to finish. And by the way, imagine the conversation of Kanye West people coming to you as the operational people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and be like, "Hey, can he live here for a couple of weeks while he finishes his album?" And then they put him in it looks like military barracks, the setup that he has. And then he just decides, yeah, the vibe isn't right in the stadium. I'm going to take my creative talents elsewhere. And then he just leaves. So I was hoping to see Ye in the broadcast booth next to Coach Mack and Mike Keith, but I guess not.
Oh, man. I heard he was in the visitors' locker room. Man, I was disappointed. Would love to see Kanye.
It would be a big time. It would be a big time.
All right, Buck and Kanye's the next show coming up, man. So stay tuned.
Well, as long as we can have Magic City Wings involved in that, I think that would be a successful transaction.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Buck, thank you, man.
Boys.
Have a great time. We'll be keeping up with everything via social media on all the Buck Reising accounts. Thank you, man.
Yes, and many thanks to Scoreboard Bar and Grill, who make it possible for me to be down here and in Tampa next week and with you.
There you go.
Appreciate it, Buck.
Buck
Yeah.
Reising joins us in this first segment every Friday. He is currently in Atlanta eating Lou Will wings, so hopefully he makes it back safely as he covers the game tonight. By the way, game coverage starts here at 4 o'clock. 3HL, that crew's going to handle the pregame show today, the local pregame. Then it'll be the network pregame at 5, and then the game is at 6, and then Dr. Smooth, Kevin Dyson, Blaine Bishop, and myself tonight on Titans Talk Back, brought to you by Lee Company. Big night ahead. One more segment in this hour, including a guy's going to do something tonight, I think, that he's never done before. I'll tell you what that is next. Blaine and Mickey.
Nobody talks to more Titans players than Buck Reising. And with that, you don't always know what you're going to get, as heard with Kendall Lamb.
How'd that go for you? It was nice, just to be quite frank, after practice, we worked for about 2 hours. And going in there, I call it my Zen time. I sit on the toilet, have a good time, and keep it moving. So,
No doubt. Literally keep it moving.
Right.
Zen time is important,
Exactly.
though, man.
The Buck Reising Show, Monday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Everybody's feeling baseball right now. Got the warm and fuzzies. Well, you can keep those warm and fuzzies. You can bet baseball on FanDuel Sportsbook. They always give you more than one way to swing for the fences, which, by the way, everybody's swinging for that cornfield fence last night. Right now, here's what you get on FanDuel. New and existing users get up to $25 back in-site credit each day. Here's what you do. Place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls one leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. So here's your chance to play, and it makes the game even more fun. You can combine elements. All you Braves fans, maybe it's a Freddie Freeman home run, an Ozzie Albies hit. They've got all these different things you can pick when you play the game. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook, and it's because of so many great things like this. And right now, if you try FanDuel, you place your first bet, you can get up to $1,000 back in-site credit if your first bet doesn't win. There's so many ways to have fun. Just use the promo code Mickey when you sign up. MICKEY. Yeah, 21 and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. If you've got a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
And questions about acoustic wave therapy for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. This is a relatively new treatment.
We appreciate it. We
is
appreciate it.
no doubt about it, guys.
Yes.
The two of you just use that phrase
Was
whole lot.
Was that just one
And
day?
I don't normally.
Was that just one day like that we did that? Because I can recall that day.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
You heard that.
But there are so many phrases that you can use. Blaine switched it up earlier today. No question.
That's a good one.
Oh.
You know, I totally agree with you. Man, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
There's just so many other phrases in
Well, I just have a small, limited vocabulary. I can only choose no doubt about it because I was trying to lead into a segment that we're going to have called No Doubt About It.
Yeah, you may make
I
was trying to see, and you did exactly what I wanted to happen.
I think it would be successful.
Oh, man.
Well, we give you all the credit for sure, Rick.
We
when
will.
That happens.
We will. We appreciate that, too.
But no, I just wanted to give you all a call to say, I'm not hiding from you, and I do listen to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't,
You wouldn't know we say no
hear
doubt
this
about
kind
it.
of stuff.
Rick, that's exactly what I said yesterday. Somebody called in and we were laughing about it, and I said, here's what I would say to Rick right now. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
You should have said no doubt about it.
Yeah, I feel like you missed an
I'll tell you
opportunity
what,
there.
though. Somebody called in about the morning show saying the word axe for the word ask. And I have heard that host. In fact, I heard the host a few weeks ago trying to correct himself. And he did the same thing this morning. He was saying something about how he was asking a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's just little things. But
Well, we appreciate
I'll
you.
let you guys get. They run a good show.
Well, thank you, Rick. We're all doing our best, man. And
We appreciate it, too, man. And we thank everyone for listening as we're doing really well in the ratings. So, yeah, we appreciate everybody listening.
it is a good crew, and you guys have definitely supported us. We appreciate the support. Absolutely. Let's squeeze in one more phone call. Cousin Danny, I think he wanted to talk about this Field of Dreams. Cousin, let's get it. Anybody else on the line, hold. We'll get you at the start of hour number 2, but let's get Danny in first. Hey, Danny.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you. So when I watched the game last night, it just stirred up all kinds of crazy emotions, right? It was so great. Touched all the childhood love of baseball that there was. And I heard so many people today talking about if other sports could pull this off. And it reminded me of a class that I took in high school. It was a class focused on sports literature.
Wow.
Literature about sports, writing about sports, things like that, right?
Class.
And the teacher that I had said something that stuck with me for all time. He said there's only 2 timeless sports in the whole world, and it's baseball and golf, and it's because those are the only 2 sports that aren't dictated by time. You play 18 holes in the round of golf unless you're tied, and then you go to someone wins. You play 9 innings of baseball unless you're tied, and then you play till someone wins. You think about the equipment that's used, the technique, the way the game's been played, not all that different from when the game was originally, incepted. And I think when you see something like what we saw last night in the Field of Dreams games, and it touches all of those spots that remind you of your childhood and all of the great things that baseball was to you when you were younger and that stuck with you that long, I don't know that there's another sport that could really, really touch that, because you can't really just gather up a gaggle of dudes, find a sandlot, and, play ball. It's a hard thing to do. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event, and I think that it was something that I'll never forget, and I don't think could be recreated.
Oh, Danny, that was beautifully said, man. That was beautifully stated.
No question.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what you said, Danny. Here's the thing that's going to happen tonight, because I teased it. I'll say this.
Oh.
And then
It was a walk-off, too, right, to win it.
That was
was
a walk-off.
perfect.
After the Yankees hit, 2 or 3 home runs
in a row.
in the top. They scored 6 runs in the last inning,
That was pretty
which
cool.
purists wanted a pitcher's duel in the cornfield, but everybody else wanted a bunch of hits and home runs. It was 9-8. It gave everybody everything. It was great. Ryan, if you'll hold on, we'll come to you first at the start of the second hour. We also have Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio. I'll say this. Tucker McCann has been on the roster in some capacity. He never got to kick in a preseason game last year. So he will kick in a pro game for the first time tonight. The other kicker, besides Ficken, Sam Ficken. Ficken will be kicking, but so will Tucker McCann, who's been around a long time.
I'm gonna be watching.
Never had a chance to kick last year.
Coach may decide to go for a field goal and be a time where he might have gone for it because it's preseason. I want to see my kickers kick. Go ahead and kick that 52.
100%. I would. Who cares if you lose a preseason game? I need to see both of y'all kick. Ain't going for it. Don't care. 3rd and 1, go out there, kick it. We need to see you kick. We got to kick it to the second hour. Again, Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio will join us in about 20 minutes. Headlines next, and your phone calls on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
The NFL preseason is finally here, and the Titans pay an early visit to Julio Jones' former team, the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Keith and Coach Mack have the kickoff tonight at 6.
Finger roll! Touchdown! Titans!
On your home for Titans football and flagship for Titans radio, 104.5 The Zone.
So this is a true story. I don't tell you guys any lies. You know that if you know me. Don't lie. True story. Was driving past a house. Let's just say it may or may not have been in my neighborhood. I got to start being in better contact with my neighbors, I guess. And I saw one of my neighbors had a guy out with a dude on his driveway, and he had a paint roller, and he was rolling this clear coating of stuff on there. And I just stopped in my truck, and I watched for a couple minutes, and I waved at the guy, and I thought, guess what? They're going to be doing that again next year, or in a year and a half, or 2 years at the most, because that stuff's going to crack and flake, and then it's going to look terrible. Looks good for a couple of days, but it's not Everseal. See, it's just a seal. It's not Everseal. And you've heard me talk about this Everseal product because I want you guys to stop wasting your time and your money. When it's time to seal your deck, your driveway, fence, walkway, boat dock, pool, decking, log cabin, whatever it is, any outside surface, I want you to do it with Everseal because it's not something you're going to be doing again for a while. 25-year manufacturer-backed guarantee. That's why you need to go with Everseal. Stop the insanity. 1-844-EVER-USA on the phone or online at ever-seal.com.
This is Jim Rome with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Lexicon, your holistic provider of practice management software and legal support services. So, Major League Baseball finally had its Field of Dreams game last night, and I have to say that was, well, something. White Sox, Yankees meeting up in Iowa, because that makes so much sense. I mean, why the hell not, right? And a lot of people seem to be getting pretty dusty at home as they watched it. Don't get me wrong, nice setting, actually beautiful. And it was actually pretty cool seeing home runs disappear over the fence into the corn. Hey, why stop there? I can't wait for MLB to schedule games in the Sandlot or that Little League field.
Eric Henry or first-round pick Caleb Farley, among others who will not see the field tonight. But a young group of guys fighting for roster spots, they take the field at 6 o'clock right here on 104.5 The Zone. Titans radio coverage gets you ready for kickoff at 5. 17 runs, nearly 8,000 fans, and a walk-off home run. Last night's Field of Dreams game between the White Sox and the Yankees was a big success for Major League Baseball. Sox shortstop Tim Anderson delivered a walk-off 2-run shot into the cornfield. And despite the loss, Yankees manager Aaron Boone said after the game it was the best setting for a baseball game he's ever been a part of. And earlier today, former Titans running back Dion Lewis announced his retirement. The 30-year-old finishes a 10-year career that included 2 years in Tennessee and a career total of over 5,500 yards. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
The 3HL coming up today at 3. Now it's time for Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone.
Woo! Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. It's Friday. We're halfway through the Friday show. The sky is like weird colors right now.
It looks like it's got to. Man, what did you do?
Don't blame me. You know what? Ask her this.
It's all because you brought your guitar in here. Yeah,
I had it in my car. I can't leave it in my car. It's like my child. I can't leave it.
Man, that thing was nice, man. What kind of guitar was that?
It is a Fender Jazz bass.
Ooh,
I really Jazz know what that is. Made in Corona, California.
Yeah. It is. Don't do too much about guitars. I bought my son one a long time ago when he was in like fourth grade.
Did he just get down and get funky on it?
Yeah, he did. Until he didn't do funky no more. Yeah, I didn't I give it to you?
You did. My daughter plays it. It's in her room. She plays it all the time.
She still plays it?
Yes.
Still today?
All the time. It's in her
so when
room.
I see her playing out in public, that's the guitar I gave you.
Well, that one doesn't plug in. It's an acoustic guitar.
Right, because this is not plugging in.
But she plays it in her room all of the time. I'm not kidding. So thank you again.
Because he barely used it, really, but that 1 year, and it was not a lot.
So you brought it in one day and said, this is going to sound crazy. My son had this guitar. You think your daughter would want to play it. I took it home. She has not stopped playing it since.
That's pretty cool.
So it had a whole nother life. Like I went to tuck her in last night and almost tripped over it. So it's right there in her room, right by the bed.
So that means it's still in good use. So they got the value out of it for,
she's getting all the value out of it.
A couple $100 I paid for
it. Trust me. There may be some hits written on that thing. We'll have to give you some royalties if those all pay off. It's Titans game day. Ryan in Lebanon has been hanging on because he wants to talk about the backup quarterback. There's a bunch of matchups that we're looking forward to tonight, as well as you. And we've talked about some of Buck Reising a little bit with ourselves at the beginning of the show, but we want to hit some of that in the first part of the show today. Here's the other thing. We're going to call our shot in the last segment. If you got a Titans-related shot, we would love for you to call in and call your shot for tonight. If it's about a player, if it's about beating the Falcons or losing to the Falcons, or Arthur Smith slapped somebody on the sidelines. Or, I don't know what he won't because he's a nice guy. But whatever you want, it's your shot. You can call it. But Ryan was kind enough to start hour number 2 with Ryan in Lebanon. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Happy to be on the show.
Thank you.
2 things I want to talk about. Blaine, what are we going to see out of the backup quarterbacks? Are they going to run the offense just like Tannehill would be in there? Because essentially that's what they would do, if Ryan Tannehill wasn't there in a real game. A lot of play actions. Just your take on that. And tighten up, guys. It's game day. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Tighten up, brother.
No doubt about it. Great question. And with that being said, I think this offense is built around Tannehill and the King, so I think you want to keep that engine going. So I don't think you do anything different. It's just really about performance and how much protection they'll have. So that's what I'm interested in. When you get stressed and maybe you got the second or third string guys out there just like you are and you're fighting for a job, maybe that's the starting unit with Woodside, and you go, uh-oh, this is not really good. He's not getting a lot of protection. Or when he gets protection, does he go through his progression reads and whatever the play is called and puts it where it needs to be, or does, makes the right decision to throw it away. So, yeah, I'm watching that all day. I think, the things that fascinate me is the backup quarterback, the kicker, as you mentioned, the kicking game. And then I'm looking at T.R. Tart, and I'm looking at all the young players, not just this year's draft class, but also last year's draft class, and maybe some of the free agent guys that nobody's really talking about that have played in the league before and have experience at the backup safety. Interesting. And then they just signed a couple other safeties as well here on the day off. So think Thompson is one of the last names.
Tedrick Thompson, who's played
Yeah, they all have some
meaningful
games.
football, yes,
Yeah.
in the league. Reggie Floyd was the other guy, hasn't played too much. But Thompson has played, and he was a fourth-round pick originally, fourth-round pick by Seattle in 2017.
Then we got the kid from the Jets, who's
Matthias Farley.
Farley, yeah, he's shown some flashes. The safety, not Caleb Farley. So I like to. I don't think Caleb Farley is going to be playing, but so I'm interested to see those guys because when you have a team that's built like this, and there's an experienced team, a playoff contending team, a Super Bowl contending team, you want experience at all levels, even if your starters go down.
Yep.
They have some pellets out there that's been in the fire, and that's why for me the kicking game was really huge, and I think they're trying to save on salary at the same time, but also develop a young kicker. And so is this the time to go with that guy? You better be sure, and the only way to find out is through preseason games and put him, to the test in some pressure situation. I want to see him have to kick a game winner or one right before the half and things of those nature because I want to see if he can handle that kind of pressure. Never know until you're in that moment, and you don't want to know that until the last minute. And if he doesn't come through for you, now you got to move forward. It could cost you a game. It could cost you home field advantage. Could cost you, making the playoffs, all kind of things. So I want to have my kicking game solidified. We already know Curran is the best of the best, so got to get the kicker right.
Man, maybe there's just something wrong with me. But if I was Vrabel, I get close to the end of the first half, let's say, time running down, we're going to go for it or not. Don't call timeout. Send them out there. Make them run out there and kick it. So he's just got to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't call timeout. Let him get where everything is rushed because you got a new snapper, but that guy's been in the league forever. Morgan Cox.
Right, they haven't worked together. And it's new holder.
Yeah.
All of it kicking,
hey, man, I'm not calling a timeout. If it gets down to that, if it's 17 seconds, whatever it is, y'all got to go out there and get it done tonight. Let's see how well he handles all the pressure you can throw at him, both of them.
It's situational football, so I'm sure they've gone on that numerous times at practice. So you want to see and kind of surprise the guys because that's kind of how it goes in the game. But the guys who are students of the game, they're watching the game. They understand what's about to happen. Probably usually for me, it was probably a couple plays down because you're already thinking like a coach once you become a veteran player.
Right.
You're thinking like them, okay, this is what's going to happen. Or we're going to make this decision. What are we going to do here? If we don't get the first down, we're going to go for it or we're going to kick the field goal. Those are already 2 or 3 plays ahead of time, and you know that as a player. That's why sometimes the young guys get caught off guard and flat-footed and like, oh, I got to run out there for a field goal? We're not going to go for it? No.
Nope.
So those are the guys who are waiting for someone to tell them what to do instead of playing the game out in your own head while you're watching the game on the sideline.
Got another call. By the way, appreciate all the phone calls today. Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. When we started the show, Blaine said, get the phone number. Let's always get people to call in. We love it when you call in and just join the discussion. You can ask questions or you can be like Rick and tell us what
that's the funnest part.
That's what makes it fun. So call in anytime, 615-737-1045. Sam in Cheatham County, again, on this Field of Dreams game, right? Sam, what'd you think about that last night?
Yeah, I'm just going to say it was a pretty cool setting. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kind of watched the beginning. I'm just ready for football. I want to ask you, Blaine.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited to see the third, fourth, and fifth, possibly sixth-string wide receivers tonight. Mm-hmm. And don't you think that the cornerbacks really got something to prove because last year they didn't do a whole lot as in terms of you being able to rely on them. And then also, one last thing, Blaine. I believe you were eating Takis or Takis? Which one was it?
Takis.
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 I think isn't it pronounced Takis?
Yeah, maybe.
Or have I been pronouncing it wrong my whole life?
No, I'm probably wrong. You're probably right. Yeah, you like those too, though?
My daughter does, and
hot.
I have to limit the bag. She'll tear a whole bag up.
Man.
God bless that child because these things are even hot for Blaine. He eats everything hot.
Yeah, I like hot and spicy. Yeah. But it's eating my stomach up, so I'll be running to the bathroom.
Hey, I got to sit in a small room with him for 2 hours. Don't encourage him, Sam. Thanks for the call, man.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, that's going to be the heated battle, though. I'm interested to see Marcus Johnson, all the draft picks, Patrick.
Every one of them.
McMath, every one of them. Who's going to be playing?
Yep.
I want to see them because I want to see who shows up the, third or fourth if it's open, fifth, Chester Rogers. I really like. So I want to see these guys in action because they got something to prove, and they're all fighting for that spot. They're all thinking, you're thinking this is all I got. And the guys who really succumb to the pressure have a drop. They'll have a drop, and you say it was dead in his hands. No defender, no, because they're thinking about the pressure. No, go out there and have fun. It's still a game. Go out there and have fun, relax, and guess what? Control what you can control and enjoy yourself. I say that to my son all the time, but I had to remind myself as a player, I prepared all week. Now let's go have fun.
Yep.
Let's go let it loose. Don't slow me down. Greg Williams would come over there and start going over all this crap in my head. I said, Greg, we went through this all week. I got you. We had that conversation one time, and it was a little different than that.
There were other words used.
Yeah, and he says, okay, cool. I see, you're making me nervous. We went over this. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. I said, all right, we got it. We good. And nobody else wants to talk to me. Yep, okay. Well, I don't need there anymore.
Right. You got no friends. Yeah, go coach him up. And I know we got to take the break. The receiver room, I mean, you got two guys we probably won't see it all during the preseason. Their status is set.
A.J. Brown.
You got Josh Reynolds, who's been banged up. Be great to see just some of what we could see. But let's say they keep 6. That's 3 jobs up for grabs. Let's say they keep 7. That's 4 jobs up for grabs. If I'm any receiver in that room, I'm thinking, I got a shot. They're going to keep 3 or 4 more guys besides the superstars.
Yeah.
I got a real chance here. So
a lot of competition, though, man.
I know.
Rodgers and John. I mean, these guys got some experience in this league.
And you got Mason Kinsey, who's been practicing well.
Yeah.
Who was on the practice squad some last year. He's a return
We forget
guy.
about Batson. I mean, nobody's even mentioned him.
Or Nick Westbrook-Akina, who was on the team last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's wide receiver matchup is going to be a lot.
And DBs
fun.
too, by the way, what the caller was talking about. There's a lot of secondary did not play well at all. In particular, the cornerbacks, and I'm sure Byard wants to get off to a good start. If it was me, I'm a little different. I'm a little old school. I probably would use this game. Because the second game now to me is going to be the dress rehearsal for the players. I would think for the starters. So this game, I would probably have them play a snap. I mean, a series. Yeah. I would get to like 10. I want 10 to 12 snaps. I know people say it doesn't mean anything after last year, but it could have been just an anomaly with everything. Right. But some coaches are going to be thinking about we got an extra game, right? A regular season game, so they really don't need to play. We get that out of practice or scrimmages and everything else, which will be they'll be scrimmaging in Tampa Bay, right, next week.
Yeah, practicing with the Bucks a couple of days, and we'll be talking about that as well. We'll be talking to Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio next. We got to preview the Cats. Also, just trust me, he will talk smack, and you will want to hear it because he's going to make you feel some kind of a way like he always does. And for Vols fans, it's usually mad. Yeah, he's going to say some stuff. Matt Jones next on Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Coming up today on the 3HL.
It's finally here. It is finally game day, and we've got you covered.
Trash Talk Friday until 4 o'clock.
No doubt about that. At 4, we'll get you ready for Titans radio coverage of Titans v. Falcons as we host the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff.
Us? We hosting it?
Yeah, I don't know why. I like the other guys better.
Well, we'll take over.
Briefly.
Today, starting at 3 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Nothing like just putting everybody in a car and saying, let's go have a great time. Just taking your crew somewhere fun. And sometimes you got to go somewhere epic. I'll tell you what's coming up that's epic. It's the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race, Saturday, September 18th at you-know-where, the last great Coliseum right up the road in Bristol, Tennessee. Man, this is a night race, a Saturday night Cup Series playoff race at Bristol. It doesn't get any better than this in sports. You're looking for an epic moment, that's it. And here's the thing. Thursday night, there's a truck race. Friday night is the Xfinity race. You can camp up there. It's going to be in September, so the weather will be perfect. It is going to be an amazing weekend. So why not get the family, get the crew, get your best friend, heck, take somebody you don't like, and you can bond over racing at the last great Coliseum. Get your tickets today, BristolMotorspeedway.com or 866-415-4158. You know why you get the tickets. You know why you go, because it's Bristol, baby.
If you ask people, what's one of the things that's really important to you? Most people would say, saving money. I'm Shooter Stein, president of NCA, National Certified Alarms. At NCA, that's what we've been doing since 1997, saving people money. And we have something else people really like. No long-term contracts like the other guys. NCA's agreements are just month to month. Why pay $30 or more for the same service when you can save 50% or more? There are no fees to convert to NCA if you have an existing security system that's compatible. Our landline monitoring starts at just $9.95 a month, and our wireless monitoring starts at just $19.95 a month. At NCA, we're locally owned and operated. When you call us, you will talk to folks you know, not to people in some distant location. If you need a new system for your home or business, we can install one for a great price. Give us a call. We have great people that are here to help. Call us today at 615-777-7NCA. That's 615-777-7622. Or visit us online at nca.cc. License number 645.
Typical repair shop. It's like going to the doctor for an operation. The typical first reaction is, how do I know that I really need what they say I need? Sometimes you really wonder if you're getting a repair recommendation or you're making someone else's mortgage payment. Blaine Bishop will tell you that people are tired of getting bamboozled. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of auto repair shops, come on over to Eurofix. Eurofix repairs everything European. So if you feel like you've been lied to or taken advantage of when it comes to auto repair, come and check out Eurofix. It's a place you can trust. Eurofix will always tell you the difference between a recommendation and a must-do. Get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection at every visit. No appointment necessary. Just come when you want to come. And Eurofix also offers a free nationwide 3-year, 36-month warranty on all work. Plus a free rent-a-car with reservation on every repair so you're not stranded sitting around all freaking day. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, Monday through Friday. Or you can just check them out online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine said you.
I sold my home for more than I anticipated, and I got to decide when I was ready to move. I received my all-cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, and they let me move after I found my new home. They made it easy. What up, y'all? This is Ron Slay, and this review is coming from 3HL listener Melinda. If you're like Melinda and ready to take advantage of this red-hot real estate market, the guarantee offer from Mark Spain Real Estate keeps you in control. You can sell your home fast or choose when you want to move after you find your new home. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. It's that simple. Mark Spain Real Estate has earned over 6,000 five-star reviews. Sell your home with the most trusted real estate team. If you're like Melinda and ready to take advantage of this red-hot real estate market, the guarantee offer from Mark Spain Real Estate keeps you in control. You can sell your home fast or choose when you want to move after you find your new home. Go to markspain.com today. That's markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. Or call 855-299-SOLD.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our original gold-rimmed homemade vanilla. The country's gold standard of ice cream flavors since 1969. Its hand-cranked taste takes you back to simpler times. That's why we put the word home right on the carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Walgreens and Tony's Foodland in Jolton.
Fans, I'm here to talk about something awesome. The kind of awesome you've missed. The joy of tailgating, the energy, the feels of the Vol Walk, the roar when the tee opens, and the sweet sound of Rocky Top with 100,000 of your best friends. Saturdays in Neyland are back. Yeah, we get goosebumps thinking about it too. Experience the rich pageantry of Vol football game days again. Log on to allvols.com for tickets today.
Hey, what's up? It's Will Bowling. Tuesday nights on 104.5 The Zone are soccer nights. Coming up this Tuesday at 9 o'clock, join me, Lucas Panzica, and Davey Shepard for the Nashville Soccer Show, talking NSC, European headlines, and much more. Tuesday nights at 9.
Need a job? We can help. Visit tnjobfair.com to see who's hiring. tnjobfair.com.
Oh, man, it is raining cats and dogs in Nashville right now. It is getting with it. So if you're out there, just be careful. Turn your wipers on. Turn your lights on so people can see you coming. But it is getting with it. We needed some rain, so hopefully everybody gets a
turn
little
your
bit
lights on here for this guy we got coming on.
Do we have Andrew? Have we got Matt yet?
Oh, that's okay. No.
Efforting Matt Jones.
We got to turn our lights on. We got to turn it up.
Tennessee
fans.
He stood us up yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'd have people riled up already.
So does UT play Kentucky at Kentucky? Or is that home? Is that home, I think. Maybe he'll be at the game and he'll owe us some kind of some food or drink or something. Maybe we'll go out and hang out. I'll make sure we get that done. Cause he definitely stood us up.
They host Tennessee this year. It's at Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. So if we go down to the game, we could make sure he takes us. Then he own a bar or something?
He owns everything in Kentucky.
Yeah. He has a key to the city, I'm assuming.
Every city. Yeah. He has a key to the whole state. That's a big key.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like you'd put it in a coal mine to turn it.
He definitely has a key to Lexington, I'm sure.
Yeah, this dude, he's been on this radio station a bunch of times. Again, Matt Jones said to join us. Okay, we got him. Matt, you stood us up yesterday, man. We got people all riled up, and they were just waiting at the gate to mob you, and then you didn't show up. So we hope everything is okay.
Yeah, so, when Tennessee plays Kentucky at some point, whether it's football or basketball, we're going to, make sure dinner's on you.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to pay for dinner. I love Blaine. Most of the rest of the people that have hosted this show over the years I haven't loved, but I've always loved Blaine. And there was one more. I think I liked Brent. I don't know where he is, but for the most part, Blaine's always been a good dude. I would never stand you up. I just got busy yesterday, but I do apologize. I would hate to let the fans of the Tennessee Volunteers down. Their football team is going to let them down this year, just like they have for the last decade. So why would I want to let them down? I don't want to add to their pain.
Oh, my, you just threw out that haymaker out there. But, yeah, it's on the Blaine and Mickey show right now, so Mickey's my cohort.
Well, I'm sure,
now.
Mickey, you're so fine, and I'm sure I'll like you. I just don't know who you are.
Yeah, he's hanging out with me.
Blow your mind.
Yeah, right. He's used to that, right?
Yes.
We're with Matt Jones from KSR Radio, and everybody knows who that is, Mickey.
So let's just start with this. Offense was slow last year. Back it up, Terry has backed up on out of Lexington. You got new quarterbacks. You got a new offensive coordinator. How are things looking under Liam Cohen?
They're pretty exciting. I mean, it's new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, and, a lot of new weapons. So you still have to see it, but I'm pretty optimistic about it. The last few years, Kentucky's been very good running the ball and has had a great offensive line. That's been the sort of calling card. Quarterback play was inconsistent, and the receivers were pretty terrible. This year, I think there's definitely going to be a market improvement at quarterback. Will Levis and Joey Gatewood, I think, will be better than what they've gotten from Terry Wilson for the last couple of years, although Terry won a lot, so I'm not as big a hater as a lot of people are on him. But this is, I think, going to be a better quarterback play. I think the offensive line is still going to be really, really good. I think the running backs are going to be really good. So the question will be, can they get improvement at the wide receiver? They haven't had good wide receivers here, with the exception of maybe Lynn Bowden, in about 10 years. And they're hoping that Wan'Dale Robinson, the transfer from Nebraska, Josh Ali, who's the one returner who was pretty successful for them, and a couple of the young guys, they're hoping they can get a passing game. But if they can get that, then I think Kentucky, because their schedules, as far as SEC schedules go, it's about as easy as you can have in the SEC. So I think it's a chance for Kentucky to have a really good year.
Matt Jones joins us on Blaine and Mickey. He is at KY Sports Radio for all you Cats fans out there.
Well, Matt, they didn't throw the ball a lot, so a lot of receivers probably didn't want to actually go there. But what would you say is going to be the style of the offense? I know they ground and pound all the time, but are they going to throw the ball a little bit more?
I don't think they'll ground and pound this year.
Okay.
I think they're going to throw it more. I mean, first of all, Wan'Dale Robinson, was the leader in all-purpose yards for Nebraska. He left, and I think he's explosive. ESPN has him as one of the 10 most important transfers in the country. I think he is. I think he's that good. And so I think he's really, in many ways, Kentucky's offense going to take a step forward? It's really going to be a lot about him. Not like, are they able to turn him into a weapon? Lynn Bowden was a weapon here. And back when Lynn Bowden was able to play in the slot and play with a balanced running attack, he was very productive. That was the year Kentucky went 10-3. I think the question will be, can they do that this year with Wandale? And it remains to be seen. Everything I hear is he looks amazing. But with all this with the offense, man, you got to see it. I mean, we got 3 quarterbacks who've never played here. You got Wandale Robinson, who's never played here. You got Josh Ali that has played, but then you got 2 freshmen backing you up that never played here. So a lot of this is going to be, you got to see it. But they're very confident. I really think the offense coordinator, Liam Cohen, it was a great hire. I think he's really smart, comes from the Rams. He is a Rams guy like Sean McVay. I think he's going to be – Liam Cohen's going to be a head coach in the NFL one day. And so I don't think Kentucky will have him long, but when they have him, I think he's going to do really well.
Well, you gave us a big picture here on everything that's going on, but besides the quarterback battle, if you want to give it that, what's going to be the biggest storyline maybe on the defensive side?
Well, the biggest storyline is the SEC East sucks. So let's start with that. Tennessee stinks, South Carolina stinks, and Vandy stinks. So when you start, that Kentucky gets to start with a premise that they don't normally get to start with, which is they can look at their schedule and think, if we're just decent, we should win 7 games. Just being decent, because they play 3 terrible teams. Louisville's going to be bad this year. Tennessee, South Carolina, and Vandy are bad. So that's 7 wins if you're just decent. Then you throw in Mississippi State, which is on the road, but still kind of trying to get used to Leach. And then you have Missouri, who I think is going to be good, but isn't significantly more talented than Kentucky. So they can look there and say, you know what, we don't even have to pull an upset, and we can win 9. So then you get Georgia. They're not going to beat Georgia. And then you play Florida and LSU at home. They get Florida and LSU at home. So that's a good draw. I think both those teams are better than Kentucky, but is it crazy that they could pull one off? I think Kentucky, with all that said, I think Kentucky wins 8. I think they beat the 7 teams I said that were their big wins. I think they probably lose to Florida, LSU, and Georgia, and then drop either Missouri or Mississippi State. That's why I have them at 8-4. But if you're optimistic, you could see 10. I think at a minimum they win 6, but I'm predicting 8.
As I understand it, they lost their secondary coach, but they still have the same DC. So
nobody cares. That's irrelevant. I mean, Mark Stoops basically coaches the secondary. I mean, Mark Stoops has coached secondary at Florida State, Miami, produced all kinds of NFL players. And really, he's a head coach, but he spends a lot of time with the secondary. He and Brad White are kind of the secondary coaches. So I actually think the secondary is one of the strengths on the team this year.
No doubt about it. And yes, we've been talking about no doubt about it. I have to ask you about these big mammoth of young men, and that's in the trenches on the defense. Let's talk a little bit about those defensive tackles there.
Well,
Pascal
that's been
McCall.
A weakness for Kentucky since Josh Allen. I mean, when Josh Allen was here, he was a beast. And, they were able to really control the line of scrimmage. And the last couple of years, they haven't gotten a lot of defensive pressure, and that's hurt them. But I think Marquand McCall and Josh Paschal are the keys to the defense. Those 2 dudes, if McCall can, control the line and stop the run, and Josh Paschal can get to the quarterback some, I think the defense has a chance to be really, really good. But the problem they've had the last couple of years getting to the quarterback, and they got to find a way to do that because they just haven't done it very much, and that's been a consistent thorn in their side. I'm expecting improvement, but again, kind of like with the quarterback, I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah, Matt Jones, our guest. You mentioned McCall. I wrote this down. He's 6'3", 379. Ooh. He's 379.
He doesn't look like that anymore, though. He's lost about 45 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So he actually looks.
So he's 325.
Good, actually. Yeah, but 325 is good for that position.
Right.
379, his belly was too big.
That can happen to any of us, man. Let's be honest.
But now I saw him last week at Media Day. I couldn't believe how he looked. I mean, he's always kind of been the jovial, pudgy guy playing behind Quentin Bohanna, and he decided that since Bohanna's now with the Dallas Cowboys, he couldn't be that guy anymore. And now he looks like a football player, and I think part of it is too, he's got a 5-star sophomore sitting behind him in Justin Rogers. Oh. And I think the theory is they basically told him, look, we ain't waiting on you anymore. If you don't come ready to go, it'll be Justin Rogers' job. And he came ready to go, and I think he can have a good year.
Is Mark Stoops, and I'd written it down this way, and maybe this isn't the right way to answer the question. Do you think he is underrated as a coach even today?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Yes, I mean, like, excuse me, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how people rate him, but I don't think when people sit and think about the great coach, let's just take the SEC. If I were to sit here and say to you, who are the best coaches? Well, clearly you're going to say Saban, and you're going to say Mullen, you're going to say Orgeron, and you're going to pick these dudes, Kirby Smart. And I understand those guys should all be there. But most of you would probably say Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkowitz, they'd put them ahead of them. But why? I mean, Mark Stoops, you guys know, you're Tennessee fans. Kentucky's been terrible our entire lives. And since Mark Stoops has been here, they've got 4 straight bowl wins. They won the Citrus Bowl, beat Penn State. In the last few bowl games, they've beaten Penn State and Virginia Tech. I mean, they're good. This is a good football team. And, like, to do it at Kentucky is kind of amazing. I mean, let's just use Kentucky and Tennessee, and I'm not talking trash. I'm just going to just be honest.
So you're just giving us facts, right?
The last 4 times Kentucky's played Tennessee, Kentucky's had more talent. Now, they haven't won all the games, but they've had more talent. They've been more talented. Just look at the draft. I mean, the NFL draft, besides Florida, LSU, and Alabama, Kentucky's had the most players drafted in the SEC in the last 2 years. So, sorry, I'm coughing on you. But I don't think people give Stoops credit for how he's done. Now, I think the reason is when you talk to him, he doesn't blow you away like where people would go, oh, man, he's so clever, he's so funny. He's just a football guy. I think also people tend to look at him as Bob's little brother. But I'll tell you this, I've been here and I've watched a lot of coaches come and go at Kentucky. He's the best one they've had in my lifetime. And here's the thing that I think is the secret to his success. It's a good lesson for life. He's not afraid to bring people in that are better at some of the things than he is, right? Some people are scared to have people that are smarter than them or that are better than them, have them work for him, not Stoops. He's had great defensive coordinators. He's had great offensive coordinators, position coaches. His old defensive coordinator is now the defensive coordinator for Kansas City Chiefs. He knows how to hire guys, and I think that's why he's had so much success.
Matt Jones, our guest. What do you think about the Heupel hire at Tennessee? Is he the guy to take them to the next level, some other level? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, my initial reaction is no, but I don't know that, right? So, like, I can't, I don't want to say for certain no. I think, listen, it reminds me of when Dick Cheney did the search to find the new vice president and he picked himself. You guys had the Central Florida AD, and he did a nationwide search, and he came upon the same guy he had before. So, could he have success? I mean, sure. Could he? If you made me bet, I would say no. Here's the problem, and this is I've said this for a while. People at Tennessee don't like it, but there are structural problems that make it hard, I think, now to win at Tennessee in a way that it wasn't hard 25 years ago. Now, NIL may change that. This is a longer conversation than you all want to have. But I see NIL as potentially Tennessee's lifeline because y'all do care about things a lot. And that's one of the reasons it's good to pick at your fan base because you care a lot. But the college football landscape is not set up for Tennessee to be good again. But NIL, if your boosters there decide to make Tennessee a place that pays a lot, then maybe that's how you get back. Otherwise, I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're going to get back to the level you want. Now, can you get back to be better than you are now? Yes. But are you going to get back to Alabama, Georgia levels? I think the answer is no. But I do think NIL gives you a lifeline, and we'll see what happens.
Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio giving us a lifeline on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, speaking of lifelines, then, I guess talk a little bit about how the NLI has, impacted Kentucky, and where do you see it going potentially?
Well, okay, so NIL, we're going to know a lot more about it next year than we know this year. But in my view, right now it's the Wild West, right? Like, nobody really knows what's going on. Like, I have no idea who's making money and who's not. I own a sports bar here in Kentucky. We don't know whether or not to pay players to come here or not. Like, nobody really knows what to do. But what's going to end up happening is a few schools are going to get the reputation as the place you go, that if you go there, people are going to hook you up with deals. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, what schools are that going to be? All right, in basketball, Kentucky's going to be one of those schools. It doesn't even have to be because of the local people. The national companies will invest in Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina because they're the most high-profile programs. So Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina in basketball are going to be good. The question is in football, obviously Alabama's going to be fine. But what other programs are going to have local boosters help them? Like, I don't know if you saw the video, but BYU had a local company just pay for 36 walk-ons to get scholarships.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. Now, BYU is probably going to be able to get the best walk-ons in the damn country now, right?
Yeah, free school.
Yeah, I think I'm a walk-on.
No, I'm being dead serious about
Yes.
that. And I mean, you know, I now think if BYU asks you to walk on, you're going to do it because you're going to go, this dude's going to give me a scholarship, right?
Yep.
So like things like that are going to happen. And so the question is Tennessee going to be one of those places? And I think they could because you all care a lot. Is Tennessee going to have local business people there that just say, you know what, financially, I ain't going to make this money back, but I want the Vols to win. So here's $200,000 to the running back, best running back and wide receiver every year. All right, if they do that, then when you all go and recruit running backs and wide receivers, it's going to be a lot easier to recruit them, right? And that is what I don't know what's going to happen. I will tell you in Kentucky, a lot of people around the program are worried because they're worried that the business people's money here is going to go to basketball and not football. And Stoops and those folks, the gains they've made in recruiting, if they can't find people to give these football players deals, maybe they'll lose some of those gains. So that in a year or two, we're going to know this a lot more. But I'll tell you this, if I worked at Tennessee, I would look at it and go, this is our chance. NIL is our chance to get back because Tennessee is kind of like Indiana in basketball. You all care a lot more than how good you've been. And that's why this is the way to get back to relevance, honestly, is to just have your rich boosters spend a lot of money paying these players to come sign an autograph.
Well, with Matt Jones, naturally, for KSR at radio and everything else, known the man in Lexington, Kentucky, and all of Kentucky. That is, I guess, in a nutshell, please tell us, I guess, where do you think expansions are going to go with, let's say, assuming Oklahoma and Texas are in the SEC?
I think that's it. I think it's just Oklahoma and Texas. I don't think anybody else makes sense. I mean, Clemson and Florida State, yeah, they're better at football, but are they going to bring in any new fans?
What's going to happen across the country, though? What's going to happen to the Pac-12, Big
I think
Ten?
you're going to end up with 4 16-team leagues. That's where this is going. 4 16-team leagues. I think there'll be 16 teams in the Pac-12, 16 teams in the Big Ten, 16 in the ACC. And if you ain't one of those, sorry. I mean, that's where it's coming, in my opinion. And the problem is there are going to be a couple teams in major conferences right now that don't get picked for any of those. And that's going to be tough. The other possible solution is that the Big 12 and the American kind of combine, or at least the best teams in the American, and then you have 5 power conferences. If I'm the Big 12 and the American, if I want to survive, because right now they're trying to hold the line, they ain't going to hold the line. Some of those teams, Kansas is the one to watch, because even though Kansas stinks at football, they are a good academic school and they are good at basketball, and the Big Ten wants them. So Kansas will leave if they're not careful. To keep Kansas and those schools from leaving, combined with Memphis, Houston, Central Florida, those schools create a 5th league that's kind of the 5th of the Power 5, and then go from there. So one of those two things is going to happen, either 4 16-team leagues or the Big 12 and the American combined.
Got you. Appreciate it, man, Matt. Bringing the heat, as always.
No doubt.
Thank you, guys. Sorry about yesterday. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's okay, buddy.
We'll, dinner's on you. Appreciate
it. Kentucky Sports Radio, Matt Jones at KY Sports Radio on Twitter. You can follow him there for all the latest. When we come back, it's time to wrap it up. We will call our shot, maybe some Titans-related shots. You want to sneak one in, hit us in the chat. Cousin Danny says, sorry, I got a little emotional talking about baseball earlier on the call. That's fine, man. Baseball does that to people. Call your shot next. Blaine and Mickey.
The Titans and Falcons go at it in the first preseason game of the year. Continuous coverage all day today.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Titans!
With kickoff at 6 p.m. on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Lake life is the best life. Ask anybody who lives on the lake. Maybe you've been dreaming about it. I've told the story before. As a little kid, for one summer, my family lived at the lake. Long story, construction in the house. It was amazing. And I've always dreamed about going back. Well, here's your chance to go. 15 years in the making, a highly anticipated lakefront resort, golf, and marina community. They're releasing new property. It's never been available before. Here's the day that it's happening. Saturday, August 21st. Lake lots with covered boat slips under 50 grand, 20 grand off lakefront villas. There's a new marina. There's a resort. They got walking trails. They got shoreline. It's everything you've dreamed of living on the lake. And right now, remember, interest rates are historically and hysterically low. It's a great time to buy property. For that reason, take advantage. Make an appointment today. August 21st is the day you want to be there. Make an appointment. You can go to TennesseeNational.com or you call today. Tell them I sent you. Make an appointment to see these amazing properties. Make your lake dreams come true. 865-657-2003.
Opportunity is right now. For a limited time, Genesis Diamonds is doing something unheard of. They've cut the price on the largest and most beautiful selection of GIA diamonds you've ever seen. Now through August 22nd only, all GIA certified diamonds have been marked down an extra 20%. 20% below Genesis already guaranteed best price on all GIA certified diamonds. It's Genesis Diamonds' spectacular GIA Diamond Extravaganza. Your chance to buy a GIA certified diamond the same way jewelry store owners buy theirs. Don't be surprised to see other jewelry store owners, even diamond wholesalers, shopping alongside you at this event. But it's for a very limited time, and you need to shop now for the best selection. Rounds, ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, pear shaped, even fancy yellow diamonds. From a half carat to 10 carats, from $1,500 to $500,000. For a limited time, get Genesis Diamonds guaranteed best price minus another 20% on all GIA diamonds. Don't miss this chance to get access to diamond prices rarely offered to the general public. Now through the 22nd only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Brent Doherty here. Thinking about taking a big summer road trip? Before you put your family in the car, make sure to have your brakes checked by my friends at New Brakes. Their full-time certified brake techs come to you and fix your brakes so you don't have to waste your free time at a dealership or repair shop. Head to newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
That's for you.
Mm-mm.
That's all for
I don't
you.
like it with the navy blue.
I still like it okay.
You just want to remake the.
That's all I want. I mean, it's pretty obvious what I'm doing here. Yeah.
It's okay. Oh, man.
Pretty obvious what I'm doing.
All right, so you got your shot?
Yeah, my shot is this. And here's the thing. Now, we'll be calling them on Friday so we can all have football shots, which makes this even more fun because in the summertime, it's some guy's going to win a tennis tournament or something, but we can call football shots. Here's mine for tonight. Mike Vrabel did his last media availability before the Titans left, and it's funny. He mentioned two people that he was looking forward to seeing play because somebody asked him, and I thought he's going to say everybody, and he said two names, which he never does. He said Rashad Weaver and talked about how he's really done better lately. He just wants to see him keep doing better. And he said Monty Rice. And Monty Rice is a Georgia guy. I think Monty Rice, because you think about this, Blaine, it's a preseason game. His whole family's going to be there because he's playing in Georgia. Right there, I don't even remember where he's from originally. He is from Huntsville, Alabama. So this is a pretty easy drive for his family. Probably have a lot of friends there from college. I think he's going to play like his hair is on fire tonight. Monty Rice, as long as he's healthy and good to go, ready to play, meaningful snaps, he leads them in tackles tonight. Monty Rice. The Georgia guy back home in Georgia.
Well, I'm going to stay on the defensive side.
Okay.
And I'm looking at my man who I'm going to be watching, Mr. Undrafted, Tier Tart. He's going to have a great game causing disruption all over the place, but he's also going to get his first sack in the NFL tonight. Tier Tart. And then he's going to get up and do the Tart dance. Whatever that is. I'm hoping it's some dance.
That dude has been a great story and continues to be a great story and has made a spot for him. Undrafted guy. You brought him up last year, and I thought this is interesting because you made this point the other day. The coaches really got after him. And you said, hey, man, that's the biggest compliment a coach could give you. Because if they ain't saying nothing to you, that means you're going to, they're buying you a bus ticket as we speak.
We gave him all he got. You're wasting my energy coaching this kid anymore.
Why? I'm not yelling at that guy anymore. Doesn't know what he's doing, can't play, whatever. But like you said, they were really after that guy. But here's the thing. He stuck around. Veteran guys, they got their trainer in Texas or wherever they go. Some of these young guys, undrafted guy, hasn't made a ton of money yet, stayed here, stayed local, was there every day. Mike Vrabel's talked a lot about him, but then they put gear on and started practicing, and they kept talking about him because a lot of guys kind of disappear after that. He's really turned it on a notch once practice has started.
Right. They transformed his body as well.
Yes.
They got him in shape. He started believing and start seeing the results, not only in his body, but his play and his movement, and felt like, hey, man, you keep this up, you may have a shot to be an NFL player as a backup. And then all of a sudden now, he's starting. So Tart, take Tart. Yep, I want to see the Tart dance. I'm already creating a Tart dance. Yeah.
Tart tonight. Let us know at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter who you are looking forward to seeing. You got McCann is going to kick in his first ever NFL game. You got Matt Barkley out of nowhere. Logan Woodside, who I said is like Twinkies after a nuclear war. He just keeps surviving. Those guys each probably going to play a half tonight. Darrington Evans, Christian Fulton. So many names. It's going to be so much fun. And when the game is over, and it'll all be on the zone, we'll be back after the game to talk about it, taking your calls tonight, and we can't wait to do it. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the Titans game, everybody.
And the weekend as well, and as always, stay safe and peace.
3HL's next.
Hear every Titans play with Mike Keith and Coach Dave McGinnis on The Call.
Touchdown, Titans! Your home for Titans football.
104.5 The Zone.
All right, if you're listening to the show, that probably means you love sports, right? Or you wouldn't be here unless you just landed on the dial and thought, who are these knuckleheads? Well, how about this? Add a little excitement to your sports watching, or maybe a lot, by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It's a simple to use app. I know, because I look at it all the time. They've got great odds. They've got odds boost. They do all these parlays, and you can click on any game that you want, and you can find all these other things you can bet on within the game. It is so much fun, and when you win, they get your winnings in as little as 24 hours. And right now, Let's say you're ready to do it for the first time. You try FanDuel. Your first bet is risk-free up to $1,000. Just place a bet on any game, anyway, and FanDuel is going to refund you up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. No strings attached, like maybe you like the Titans tonight over Atlanta. Get the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y, so they know that I sent you. You got to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. If you've got a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
This is Jim Rome with the CBS Sports Minute. The Patriots played their first exhibition game last night, and they did so against the Washington